Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing my recipe for this light fruitcake or fruitcake. Now this is the fruitcake that's similar to sponge cake, just with those soaked fruits added inside. It's a lighter version of a black cake or a regular fruitcake, and if you're not a person who likes that dense texture of a black cake, this is more for you. It's like a cross between a sponge cake and a black cake as well. So if you want to see how I put this together, then please keep on watching. So I want to give a big shout out to an amazing company called Spice Wheel for sponsoring this video today. They sponsored me with all of the amazing spices to go ahead and put together this recipe. I just want to do a little quick unboxing with you to show you some of the things that they sent me. So in this little packet here, they sent me some measuring spoons, and these right here are of course perfect for your baking and measuring out all of your dried ingredients. When you purchase from them, you get a nice little card talking about their business and their QR code for their website as well as their Instagram. And I'll have those things linked right here on the screen, and I'll have them linked in the description box right below this video. You can see that it's a set of metal measuring spoons, and it comes with a leveler, so this way you can go ahead and scrape off any excess when you're measuring them. And they're magnetic in the middle, so they all stay together and nothing gets lost. And this right here is their spice wheel. So what they do is they go ahead and put all of the spices in this beautiful stainless steel container, and it's nice and heavy, it's good quality, and all of the spices in there smelled so fresh and they're packaged so well. You're going to see that when you open it, each one of the containers has a nice cover, so this way when you open the spices, nothing will fall out and make a mess in the dish. And this is so much better than some of the other brands that they sell. And so before I put together this recipe, I'm just going to unbox each one of the spices that I'm going to be using today, and I'm going to pour them into their respective containers. They even come with some stickers and they label it with what's inside of it, so this way you can go ahead and have everything organized and ready to go in your kitchen. Now they have so many different spice wheels to choose from on their website. They have an Indian spice wheel, they have a baking spice wheel like the one that you see here with all these sweet spices. They also have a Latin wheel, and they have so much more. So make sure you check out their website, check out their Instagram, and you can purchase from them. This is a great gift to buy around the holiday season for somebody's birthday or for anybody who loves to cook and bake at home. So I got all of my spices sorted out. So at this point, we're going to start to soak our fruits. So this is very, very simple. Like I said before, I'm not using a whole set of different things either. I'm going to be going very simple today. So in a large bowl, you're going to want to go ahead and add in some raisins. These are regular dark raisins. And if you wanted to, you can use half raisins and half currants for this recipe. But I'm just going with raisins because this is the easiest to find, especially in a pinch. And on top of those raisins, I'm going to be going in with some dried prunes. And I'm also going to be going in with some maraschino cherries. These are the ones that come in the bottle with all of the juice. All I did was drain off all of the juice, and if you find the ones in the grocery store that are more candied and a little more dry, and once you get the cherries added in, that's all of your fruits right there. If you wanted to add in some mixed peel, you definitely could, but like I said, I'm doing it very simple today, and I'm going to go ahead and pour on some red wine. For this recipe, I'll leave all the ingredients and measurements linked in the description box right below the video. Once I get the wine put on top of the fruits, I'm also going to go in with a little bit of Jamaican spiced rum. You can use any kind of rum or alcohol of your choice. If you didn't want to add in this little bit of extra liquor at the end on top of the wine, you also do not have to. I just like to go in with it so it can add a little bit of a different flavor as well. So all I'm going to do is mix all of these ingredients together. Once everything is mixed, I'm going to go ahead and cover this, and I'm going to let this sit on my counter overnight. Now if you wanted to let it sit for about like 6 to 8 hours, like if you do this in the morning and then you want to grind it at night, you can do that as well, but I left it overnight and it worked out perfectly. So it's the next day now. I let my fruits soak very well overnight, and then I went ahead and I ground them in my food processor until I got the texture that I wanted. I set those aside, and now we're going to start to make the actual cake. So in my bowl here, I've gone in with some all-purpose flour, and I'm going to be going in with my baking powder. Now I wanted to just let you all know I love these measuring spoons from Spice Wheel because they make measuring so easy. They're nice and heavy duty, and I also really like that they have many different sizes as well. Now into that, I'm also going to go in with a little bit of salt just to bring out all of the sweet flavors. And now I'm going to begin to add in my spices. Now if you're my grandmother, she usually only uses some cinnamon and nutmeg, but I'm adding in some other spices just to make it taste even better today. So I'm going to go ahead and add in a little bit of ground cloves. I'm also going to go in with some of my cinnamon powder. And I'm also going to be going in with a little bit of allspice powder, which is optional, but it adds a really nice taste. And I'm also going to go in with some freshly grated nutmeg. I really like that Spice Wheel allows you to use as much or as little nutmeg as you want because they go ahead and put the nutmeg whole in the container and allow you to grate it fresh. And lastly, I'm going to go in with a little bit of ginger powder. and I'm going to go ahead and mix up all of these ingredients very well until everything is well combined. Now by doing this, you make everything easier later on when you have to add it to the wet ingredients. Now that the dried ingredients are taken care of, it is time to work on the wet ingredients. So in my stand mixer, I'm going to be going in with my softened butter. Now if you wanted to use the butter sticks, like real unsalted butter, you can do that. But I find by using the golden cream Guyanese butter, it's much better and it whips faster than regular butter. And once you get the butter in there, it's time to go in with some sugar. I'm using brown sugar today, but if you wanted to use white sugar for this recipe, you definitely can do that as well. And if you're looking for the full list of ingredients and measurements, it'll be linked in the description box right below the video so you can find everything very easily when putting this recipe together. I'm just going to go ahead and beat the butter and sugar until it's light and fluffy and until the sugar melts a bit. This is going to take about 10 to 12 minutes. And every once in a while you want to go ahead and stop the mixer so this way you can scrape down the edges and make sure that everything is mixing properly and there's no butter and sugar left at the bottom. After about 10 to 12 minutes, you're going to see that it's light, fluffy, and almost white in color. And now it's time to adding our flavorings. So I'm going to go ahead and add in some vanilla essence or extract. If you wanted to use almond in this recipe, you can definitely do that too, but I'm just using vanilla today to make it very simple. And I'm just going to scrape down the sides before I start adding in my eggs one by one. Now the reason why we add in the eggs one by one and we beat in between is because we want to make sure that the eggs mix very well with the butter and sugar instead of separating into a mess. And once all of the eggs are mixed in, it is time to go in with some of our soaked and ground fruits that we made last night. Now I wanted to let you know for this recipe, you can go in with as little as half a cup of the soaked fruits, or you can add in up to a cup to make it a little bit richer and a little bit denser. Now I don't like mine super fluffy, so I go ahead and I add in about a full cup of the fruits. But of course, if you wanted it more fluffy and more like a sponge cake in the end, then you only add about a half a cup of fruits. Again, you can add as much or as little as you want. We're just going for a lighter version of the black cake or regular fruit cake than we would usually make. So once you get the fruits in, just beat it very well so they're mixed with that butter and sugar mixture. So now that all of the wet ingredients are mixed properly, it's time to go ahead and put the mixer on a very low speed and start to stream in the dried ingredients and let it mix very well until there's no more dried flour left. Now you can do this in batches, just make sure that you do not overmix and make sure that all of the flour is well and combined. And after you mix in all of the dried ingredients, you just want to go in with your spoon again and give it a last little mix and scrape down the edges to make sure there's nothing left at the bottom of the bowl that the mixer might not have caught. So at this point, the cake batter is done and the hard part is over. It's time to transfer this batter into a prepared 8-inch circular pan. Now this pan, I've gone ahead and I buttered it and floured it just to grease it very well. You can also use parchment paper instead. And all of this batter will fit in an 8-inch pan. If you wanted to make it thinner, you can use a bigger pan, or you can do whatever you want with the sizes of pans that you have. I'm just going to spread out the top of this, and I have my oven preheated to 350 degrees. When you put the cake in the oven, you're going to lower the oven to 325 degrees, and you're going to allow this to bake for about 45 minutes, or until when you insert a toothpick and the toothpick comes out, the toothpick is nice and clean. And you're going to see that it's going to bake up perfectly. So my fruitcake or light fruitcake has baked to perfection. I went ahead and I let it cool completely. If you wanted to soak this down with a little bit of liquor of your choice, you can also do that. And I'm just cutting into it here to show you guys what it looks like on the inside. Now this cake right here was the perfect variation of a black cake and a sponge cake put together because it had those fruits inside. You can see that it's slightly fluffy but also slightly dense because of all of those fruits that we added in. And with all of that said, I hope you all enjoyed. Please go ahead and give it a nice big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed yet, and drop those comments down below. A big shout out goes to Spice Wheel. I'll leave their Instagram here and the website in the description box below the video. Make sure you check them out and check out those amazing spices. Bye everyone.